Hello and welcome. Well, we're here again. I already reviewed all the other Descendants films, so of course, to my own accord, I had to watch this one. And you might be asking why, because I have not liked any of the films, but I want to be hopeful and I want to give things a chance. But they keep proving me right. Let's start from the beginning. Let's get into the cast.
This time, our main cast consists of Kylie Control as our main protagonist, Fred, Rita Ora as her mother, the evil Queen of Hearts, Milana Baker, who plays Chloe, who is Cinderella and Charming's daughter, and yes,
I am really grateful that Queen Brandy is back as Cinderella. Listen, I understand I'm a millennial here. I understand that the grasp that these Disney Renaissance films hold on me, but also the best version, the greatest version of Cinderella of all time. This is genuinely my favorite version of Cinderella. I've talked about this before. I adore this movie. And they did it in such a great, diverse way. Where, yeah, the Whoopi Goldberg's character of the Queen is black, Victor Garber is white, and they have an Asian son. It doesn't make sense, but no one cared about that because they didn't focus on the diversity aspect of it. They just focused on good characters and a fun story. And Queen Brandy, at least in here, is Princess Brandy. Now she's Queen Brandy. And the prince are back.
Paulo Montalban is now King Charming, and again, it's nice to see the return. Other returning cast members include China Anne McClain as Uma and Melanie Paxson as the fairy godmother. Because this is a film about time travel, there's a secondary main cast that plays the adult characters as high schoolers. Ruby Rose Turner plays Bridget, who is the younger Queen of Hearts before she turned evil. Morgan Dudley plays the younger Ella, and Dara Renee plays Uma's aunt, Ileana, which is an interesting choice on its own.
That's the one note I'll say generally. All the characters and all the actors do a phenomenal job. Like, they really try. They put their whole heart into it. It's just the material is so weak. They all can perform well. They all can dance insanely well. They can all sing insanely well because it is a musical. But again, the material is what is really weak about it. And again, I understand it is not my demographic. I am not the target audience. But I will say is every single time, Ever After High did it better, Justice for Ever After High, and this is also why I'm so critical on these films, because there was already such a wonderful piece of media that handled this concept perfectly. And if you're not aware of Ever After High, let's talk about that.
Ever After High was a web series and doll line created by Mattel in 2013. The concept is literally the same as the Descendants films, where a group of fairy tale characters go to school together and are told they have to follow the same storylines as their parents did or their futures cease to exist. Of course, they find out that that's not the case and they are able to choose their own destinies.
Justice for Ever After High. I know that's not Disney. I know that the characters are different, but the characters, it was here first. It did it so much better. I can genuinely go back and go rewatch all the Ever After High webisodes, movies. Like, that was a phenomenal piece of children's, but also everyone's entertainment.
The characters also had this amazing quirky sense of style the Descendant characters tried to emulate, but overall the writing and the direction the story continued to go in was so much smarter. Instead of the villains versus the heroes, the Ever After High characters were labeled as the royals and the rebels, and it set up a genuine flow that made it easy to explore different themes more than the Descendants does, but I know I'm biased.
And we'll get back to the talk about Descendants, okay? Mal and the prince are going off to help diverse lands, so I guess we're missionaries now. We have missionaries in the Descendants world canon. In this film, Uma is the headmaster now, and she wants to invite all the lands together, including the land of Wonderland, because Wonderland is locked away. And I understand, and I'm actually was very hopeful because I love the idea of Wonderland. I've talked about this so many times before. I love Alice in Wonderland. I love how many different ways the story of Alice in Wonderland has transformed. I love how dark Alice in Wonderland can get at times as well. I actually prefer the dark versions of Alice in Wonderland, and I've talked about that too when I did the Alice in Wonderland review years ago, so link in the description for a more positive review of this one. But I really love anything with Wonderland. I love the concept. I love how whimsical and wonky it gets. So I was trying to be hopeful for this because that is a near and dear concept to my heart. I love the idea of the world of Wonderland, as weird as it gets.
Of course, we don't get that much time spent in Wonderland. It's portrayed as North Korea, basically, locked up away from the rest of the world, and only used to set up our story, which honestly, there isn't too much of overall.
Literally, I thought that I was watching a bunch of music videos instead of a movie. That's what it got down to, where there was too many songs and not enough story, and by the end of it, I was questioning, what did I just watch and where was the story? Because the build-up, the ending of the story really does make me curious to see what's going to happen. Like, it sets it up to have me be intrigued again and want to continue to watch this. But again, I'm questioning, why is this a movie and why is this not a TV series? I feel like, although I don't think I would want it as a TV series, but it felt like it would work better as a TV series. This honestly felt like just a long episode of a show to set up an arc for the season.
To explain better, the main idea is that Red is invited to attend Oridon High, but when the Queen of Hearts and her attend the opening ceremony, the Queen tries to start trouble and hostile take over the place. Earlier in the story, Red is shown by the Mad Hatter's son, who's in this film for like 2 minutes to establish this plot device and then never seen again. There's a time travel watch that shows Red as a device she can use in the future, since she doesn't have the healthiest relationship with her mother, but of course she ends up taking it with her secretly right away. That brings us back to her using it at the ceremony with the intention of going back in time a few minutes to stop her mother, but instead the watch sends both her and Chloe back in time 30 years prior when the parents were students at Merlin Academy.
And that was the other question I had, because in the first Descendants movie, when they decided to, hey, let's bring the villain's kids into the world of Eridon, they only brought the villain kids, not the parents. They made sure to keep the parents away from it. So why did they invite everyone, knowing that the Queen of Hearts is this evil, locked up dictator? Like, I understand you wouldn't have a story without it, but do we need the story? No, we don't. What time period is this supposed to be taking place in? I have logical questions for a movie that's not logical at all. I understand. This movie has taken on too many identities from existing media. The idea of them going to the school and the fact that the two characters used to be friends and now are enemies with each other. It's the plot of Wicked. It's literally Wicked. I was screaming at my TV. This is literally Wicked. The casting was interesting because, of course, since they go back in time, they get to interact with the parents and their versions of the parents. So you are introduced to a lot of the characters that were high school kids at the time, but are Maleficent, Hades, Hook.
And they did an amazing job casting those characters as well as some of the others, like the fairy godmother, for example.
And I did like that they continued to show that Mal and Hades were together, because that was canon from the previous film. So I really appreciated that they continued the canon universe there. Even though it is weird that they were together in high school and not when they were older. But that's a minor issue. Like, what is going on with the Prince Charming character? Ugh. I think because they brought the actors back trying to have a cute moment, it just made it much worse, because I am fully aware of what their story was, and I am in the mindset that their story happened the way the story did. And taking the characters and changing their entire personality, like I said, it's literally Rick and Morty multi-universe situation going on here. It's a Marvel multi-universe situation going on. I don't like it. The Queen of Hearts being Bridget. Bridget does not look anything at all like the Queen of Hearts character. Even, like, her whole idea is that she is pink everything and then she changes to red. Why is red evil? Why does pink change to red and red is evil? I don't understand this. I just feel like I was watching Ariana Grande's Cat Valentine on screen, which also did not help the Wicked comparison. It doesn't help at all. It literally is Wicked. Especially with Glinda and Elphaba and the way they're played now in the movie. It literally, I felt like I was watching a version of the characters. Why did Beast and Belle form this island? Why did they decide, hey, let's redo all the fairy tale lands and just get everyone a central place to live? That doesn't make sense. I hate what they did to Beast and Belle. I hate how they have changed their characters so much from the original source material. Like Belle, nothing would happen.
Belle aside, the bigger issue is also how they changed Cinderella and Charming so much too.
How do you go from this wonderful, fantastic, magical, perfect version of a Cinderella story to the monstrosity of a backstory now? They changed her entire character. They literally, it's the same actor. Okay. Hey, you played Cinderella before, and the prince. You guys played these characters before. Let's bring you back into this world. Why? If you're not going to be true to their characters, they are already established characters in their own world. What is this backstory? What is this tragedy that they have done where now they're students of this high school, and Cinderella as a character, well, now she's Ella. Okay, I understand. She's just Ella here in high school. Ella is against the ball, basically. Ella does not believe in the standard formula. Why are you changing her entire character? That's a cinema sin right there, to literally change everything her character was about for this tragedy. And it's a tragedy, yes. The entire arc of Cinderella revolves about how she wants freedom from her stepsisters and her evil stepmother, and how she dreams to be able to have the freedom and to do the things that everyone else gets to do. And she dreams about being able to go to this ball just to enjoy the ball. Remember, she's not looking for a man. She just wants to be able to have a night of fun. So why are you taking that and literally making her against the idea of a ball or a courting, whatever they have in this one?
Again, I don't want to focus on all the negative things. They did do some positive things too.
I really appreciated how they gave a tribute to Cameron Boyce, because it really was a tragedy that he died as young as he was, and I know that it gave them so much grief and heartache that were close with him. Like, I understand that. It's very sympathetic, and he seemed like a very sweet person. Obviously, I never knew him personally, none of us did, but I know that it really affected them, the cast, a lot of the cast members that worked with him and were very, very close with him, and it was a very good friend of theirs. So I'm happy to see how it was handled, especially because I understand that I'm not in the demographic for this. I understand that it is for a younger crowd of kids, so a lot of them don't understand the gravity of death yet. And so it was a nice, vague way to honor him. So I'll give that a point for wonderfulness of this film. And that's the other positive thing I'll say. I love their costumes for the most part. All of Red's outfits were adorable, and I would love to wear a version of them. Like, they were so cute. The gowns that the queens wore were a little bit obnoxious and didn't make sense, especially, I'll jump ahead, especially when paired against all the extras that were behind that all looked like they were going to church. It just, those are moments I've noticed in there. But all of the student costumes for the most part are done really well. They're kind of mixed. Honestly, a lot about this movie is very mixed, but I love Red's outfits.
The last thing to focus on are the songs, since they were truly the most important part of this film.
Even one of the songs I felt was a Zombies knockoff. I felt like putting together the good kids and the villain kids against each other and them singing back and forth felt like it did in Zombies. Honestly, Zombies was a much better, unique concept than this is.
The sun shines a little more brightly when you take things a little more lightly.
Pairing them next to each other also shows how similar they are to each other.
You can watch me shine. This is gonna be my year.
For the most part, the songs all sound good, but they also blend together.
There's a villain song where the choreography looks like it came out of Lady Gaga video.
You to that poor unfortunate soul should be 10 times more cruel. They won't know what's coming when I hit 'em with
seriously, not only am I questioning these moves, but also what's with the zombie style editing? To end on a positive note as well, I really like this song called Get Your Hands Dirty for the message.
If you're good, good things will come to you.
That broken vase shows that's not true.
That's not fair.
But that's how it's going. You're a nice girl, but your princess is showing.
It's refreshing to sing about how not everything is black and white and there's both sides to everything. Not everything is strictly good or evil, and I love that they're telling kids to think for themselves. Major points for that as well. I'll also add that since I've listened to these songs multiple times now since editing this together, they are growing on me and are definitely the best ones out of the franchise so far.
I am intrigued enough for a 5th one because since you're dealing with the idea of time travel, they do allude to saying that because the characters are now changed, things are going to change and there are consequences. So I love that idea. I genuinely love that idea so much and I'm excited to see what they do, but I'm excited in a very, very low expectation way because I have learned to not have any expectations about these films. This was me not having any expectation about this film and it still had me question so much. I can say I've come a long way where I'm not just screaming about every negative thing. I try to look for the positive here. I really want to be kind to these films. But it's not for me. It's not for me and that's okay. But I really hope that they do better. And until then, we need to go back to the classics and enjoy these stories. Because again, if you are curious, I have done the video on Cinderella too. So I'll also link that in the description below. And if you haven't seen it in a while, or if you haven't seen that, please watch this one. Please watch this version of Cinderella because this is one of the greatest films of all time. And it was an original film for Disney. Like this was made for the wonderful world of Disney. So it was made for television as well. So you can't go by the fact that, oh, well, this is better because of that. This is proof right here that they can make TV movies much better than they do today. If you have liked parts of this film or liked the film at all, please let me know. Again, only critical here because I want them to do well and I want them to do better, and I'm really questioning why they continue to make these movies, especially because I thought they were going to stop after the death of Cameron Boyce. I thought they were going to just be done with it because of the situation, and like I said, I'm really happy how they honored him the way they did, but I don't know how much more story there is to tell at this point. Like, it wrapped up, it had its happy ending, we're done. The 3rd one was a lot better than the 1st one was, but yet they're picking it back up again for no reason. Well, until then, as always, I hope you have a magical day and I'll see you real soon.